Namaskar, good morning. I'm back to you. There's a problem last video I showed. Now I'm going to continue that one. It was shelled due to some micro battery problem, so the problem I don't know what is the cause. It was shelled, so I continued this one. I just covered part of that in that one. So let me see how it happens. Maybe shell again, I don't know. Some problem with battery was not charging. There's a problem in laptop, I think. There's some problem in laptop probably. And maybe it's causing another problem. I don't know why it's not charging. I don't know reason behind that. Let me see how it works. So I was talking about management issue. Management. So COVID was over. It was management issue, project management and total quality. I usually call this project management total quality because it's important to have that file around. Project management and total quality it is. Total project management, that's quality management of project and quality itself means quality not to control itself of material quality of project, but total quality, system quality I'm talking of. System quality is much important, this is more important than something else. This project management, I think I should work properly and people are disturbing me for nothing, I don't know why. Still it's not charging, now it's charging I think. Okay, I continue now. Thank you very much for the attention. Sorry, I was disturbed and it might be. Okay. Project management, we usually say what's project, we should define project. What is project definition? Project candidate should be work that should have a date of start and date of completion. Otherwise, you can't say it's a project. Not in continuity forever. Continuity forever cannot be called a project. A project has a life duration, which can be any date, any day, any year, or what do you say, even in weeks, or you can say 4 days, 4 years, 4 months. Whatever duration, depending on quantity of project and value of project, can be said project. It's very simple definition. It doesn't need any spatial level of knowledge that you need. It's very simple as far as its understanding is concerned. Nothing to say, it's calculated, it's a differential equation. Date of start of some program or scheme and date of completion of that, this duration, this gap is called duration of project, and whatever work is done which was known to be done before project started and which is delivered on day of completion finally, that is called a project. And once project is over, then the status of project is gone, expenses are over, but its results are expected to come at that time, and the results can be production, results can be processing, results can be whatever, sale, purchase, or what we call it, and that's a part of operation. Operation starts the year. Operations actually start at the end of project, though whole project is operation of activities, sum of activities, that is different kind of operation. That is not titled operation but activities based work. So we should understand what is project and what is operation. Generally those facilities, plants which are having big size projects, petroleum projects, petroleum plants, power stations, or you may say whatever else type of railway operations you may say, or whatever, which are never ending, which don't have any end date. Those activities, those propositions and those plans they all come under purview of operations, whereas something delivered finally, engineered and delivered finally, that is called project. Project engineering is that where project is delivered to user or to client or to owner for use or for its operation, that is called project. This definition must be clear to everybody. Sometimes it's not understood even because projects and activities are related, and factories say they operate, industries operate, similarly systems operate, major systems. They all operate, some forever and some for quick terms, and further renewals are done. So when I say project, I am not talking about operation. Of course, operations are covered under project. You may call them operations, or you may call them activities, or you may call them events, whatever you can call them. It doesn't make any difference as far as name is concerned, name of term is concerned. It doesn't make any big difference. But difference is made when title is concerned. So when project is concerned, we have to understand this difference, which is very important from every point of view. We may say a project contains 10,000 cubic meter of concrete. A project may contain 100,000 cubic meter of concrete. A project may contain 400,000 cubic meter of concrete. A project may contain whatever number of concrete quantity, whatever number of steel or quantity of steel, and whatever number of other materials. It depends upon the size of project and what involves there on that project. Structural steel, structural concrete, pre-stressed concrete, precast concrete, block work, brick work, finishing items, road work, internal work, sanitary utilities, etc. All. Central control building, many other buildings, utilities building, you can say, blast building, process plant area, administration area. There are so many names connected with that. So we have to be clear about that, what I am talking about. Project can be small one, it can be medium size, it can be major size, it can be mega size, it can be too big size. You are developing a city, you are making a new city, you are making a smart city, you are making a smart institution, you are making whatever new one, you are making an airport, you are making whatever you want to make. That's all are called projects. Now how these are constructed, how these are handled, that is different viewpoint. These are handled by your own, you are buying your own material, procuring your own material, utilizing your own workforce, machines, and then you can say this self construction or your own construction without acquiring any help from contractors. Even though there will be contractors like material supply contractors or vendors, or human resources vendors, there will be different types of people with you. But when you go completely to some party, some professional group that can call itself a contracting party, it's called project contractor. In that case, maybe project the EPC contractor, that can be called engineering, procurement and construction contractor, or exclusively construction contractor, or even human resources based contractor, where you will be you're procuring materials and machines yourself and just handing over to that contractor who install that using its own workforce, in which case we can say workforce oriented contract. You are paying element of expenses for workforce, human resources, and also sometimes they hire machines. So there are various types of contractors, various types of contracting systems. What we are talking now is this lump sum fixed price system, which is very complicated one in the sense that it is used for big size projects where cost variations do come in. So my point is directed to that level of contracting which is called EPC or non-EPC only construction contracting. I have so far talked about lump sum fixed price contract, and I gone through FIDIC to you. Now this contracting system should be very clear to everybody, because there is confusion in that. When I say lump sum fixed price system, this means something very important in that. This means there is many documents in this type of contracts. Contract itself is a document. There is an offer on behalf of bidder or future contractor to honor or through engineer, and that bid was accepted, and on that acceptance a letter is issued to contractor, tenderer or bidder, and that's called letter of acceptance. So contract and letter of acceptance are in combination unique documents, because you can integrate two or can separate two, that's up to you. And in case you don't have written agreement signed between two parties, employer and contractor, then there's one only document, that's letter of acceptance, which takes power of contract in itself, but that may not be that explanatory as contract itself is. So contract in totality is contract documents or contract forms with all conditions and pricing, letter of acceptance, and then further go down to your bidding, your contract, your designs, your specifications, your general conditions before designs, and particular condition before general conditions. Like that, there are so many, a group or package of documents in sequence, and that applies to you because it's lump sum fixed price contract. Of course, BOQ is there, of course, but it doesn't mean anything because it's just a suggestive or indicative, useful document for you, but not a legal status document. That's called Bill of Quantities of BOQ, you may say. BOQ, which means you have to quantify all items on that project, whatever each unit you have to quantify and include in those BOQs. And suppose there are 50 units, you must have 50 separate bill of quantities for each unit. Or you may say, for example, there are 15 buildings on one project. You should have all have an individual BOQ, so there will be processing plant, and that there will be many buildings. It will be administration area, there will be many buildings, or there may be road work, or there may be landscape work. Whatever is there must be quantified separately, and all those BOQ combined together reach one price, and that price is bid price, or if it is approved, that is, contract price, which can be negotiated later on also. And all those documents which were issued at time of bid and which were later on negotiated also, or you can say corresponded also, or clarified also, all those papers are brought into a package, and that's called contract documents, package of contract. And that is where we can say all these documents, general conditions, particular conditions, package drawings and package specifications, and on top of that contract, all and at end is BOQ. All these you can say are called a package of contracts. This point we must understand. Another point we must understand is in this lump sum fixed price, that the price is not changed once it is agreed until there are variations or there are other claims. That point also must be made clear to everyone. There is no change in that price. That's why we call it lump sum fixed price. For those package, whatever package is there, right or wrong, higher quantified or lower quantified, it doesn't make a difference when the package is agreed as contract. And all these package documents are called contract documents, and that is where I say part of project management. Project is dependent on these documents. These may be right or these may be wrong. Once these are signed, both employer and contractor are bound, employer being first party on that contract and contract being second party on that contract, and engineer is never a party on that contract, but engineer works on behalf of employer or as an independent person, neither linked to employer nor linked to contractor, but linked to as a professional, independent professional in capacity of engineer, which is defined in contract, and that engineer is judged for this project on site or in designs or in offices. Means whatever decision, technical decisions are required to be taken, this gentleman engineer takes those decisions. No financial change, no financial decision without permission of employer, but technical decisions, all those which relate to project, this profile engineer, contract engineer, you can say, has the power to take those decisions, to decide about designs, whatever designs this engineer decides within that budget, that design is required to be implemented, and whatever specifications are issued, whatever is done, all works are carried out in that direction, complying with all specifications, all documents and everything, and that's where this project works in. So I'm just trying to tell you, to explain to you what project means when it is lump sum fixed price contract. That's very important part of construction engineering. And when we say that this is construction contract only, this means there is no element of design in that contract covered in. Maybe some small or small design part is there, maybe 1 to 5% of cost, where we don't expect that we should wait for months. The design should come from engineer or designer. It can be taken care of by contractor itself if to save time. But it can't be said in that case this is in EPC. It still remains red book based, and this is 2007 red book, and that's still called construction contractor. In this, engineer has every right on contractor, and contractor has got every right to question engineer. I want this clarification, I want that clarification, I want engineering information, I am finding some difficulty in drawings, these are not correlated together, these are not talking to each other, these are not mutually explanatory, contractor is speaking something and on site something else is happening, and this what means there may be hundreds of queries, hundreds of drawings, hundreds of shop drawings, hundreds of and hundreds of questions doesn't make a difference. All are required to be responded to by an engineer in capacity as contract administrator. If engineer fails to do so, that engineer got no right to continue on that project, but contract has absolute right to get information whenever required. Nobody can say no to contractor, because a contract is charging something. Contract has to develop that, contract do that, carry that out, and for that purpose information must be clear. If information is not clear, this means that part is not constructible. You cannot say that we can execute that part, carry out that part in absence of certain information, which must be taken care of by both parties, employer and contractor. If contractor says you are not giving information, so you delaying project, then question comes in, why information you are giving? Either engineer is competent, or engineer is not consolidated or concentrating on that, or engineer has to procure that information somewhere else. It's up to engineer to get information in. That is very important to come in. If engineer cannot do that, that's when this is a losing game. Work cannot be done in that case, and if work cannot be done, this means contractor suffers, and contractor can claim extension on that, as well as if any financial liability comes in, that contractor can claim. So that's why there is a worry always on lump sum contracts, that contractor can claim extensions or can claim something like idling if it happens. Therefore, at time of bid itself, it's duty of bidder also, to ensure that all informations are available. If information is not available, it's contractor's duty to demand that information, and it's engineer's duty, liability to respond to contractor on that information. And that information not supplied to one bidder, it is supplied to all bidder who are in pool before contract is decided. At time of offer tender closing, before closing tender, that information can be supplied to all those bidders. They may consider that or they may not consider that. That's up to them. So this this package contracting isn't that easy as we think it is. It's a big game. It's a big game in a sense. You have to be very smart, engineer as well as contractor. Both must work together. Otherwise, they cannot get anything in that. And this project management is very important in this fact. And I'll explain to you also additionally. This project management is simply not what I told. There's a question of price. Price can't be altered. That's very important part. Even if you have calculated price on incorrect quantities, that is your problem. Or whatever quantities are given on BOQ by engineer, those quantification is also not binding on either party. It's duty of bidder to ensure that those quantities are right, or bidder has full right to make its own BOQ and use that in addition to what BOQ is available. You can inform engineer, I'm using this BOQ, this is the varying one. There's a quantity which are higher than given your BOQ, so I'm not depending on your quantities, and that information can also be given to all other bidders if this is before contract is entered into. And after that's the responsibility of, means if you have considered higher quantity and engineer has considered lower quantity, your responsibility lies not in engineer's responsibility. If your quantity is more than or less than, it's your choice. Yes, there can be problem on BOQ when it's under scrutiny by engineer. Price, that is final one that you offered, and when engineer investigates that or scrutinizes that BOQ and all other documents, and if engineer finds that your price should be lower than that, not that which you have given, is higher, it should be lower, that engineer informs bidder, and if bidder say okay, no problem, I had mistaken, so I accept this price, so that changes price, means whatever engineer then decides, that offered price is reduced to that one. Otherwise it is reverse, it's not acceptable. Means if price is higher by calculation, through calculation done by engineer, if engineer says your price is lesser than what I'm finding, you give in writing that you accept whatever he offered and you won't claim this price in future which is higher than if bidder says yes, I accept, that's this agreement continues. Otherwise at that stage if bidder says no, because your calculate higher price, give me higher price, then it's up to engineer what to do. Then there may be another bidder whose price is lower than that, so they can negotiate with that one. The chances of contract are 50-50. Means if you say no, I made a mistake, now my price is that, then you lose that contract, possibly other guy will get that. Such type of complexities lies everywhere. and there can be some prices in your bid which are loaded prices. Means say one item is their concrete item all over in many BOQs. In one BOQ you are writing one price, in other one you are emphasize. Then it's also questionable because site is one, why are you writing different prices? Or there may be some item where price is too high, means let us say double or triple, and you just use that because I have covered some other prices somewhere. So that can be a question when there's okay, readjust your prices, or engineering will readjust your prices and you have to accept that. It depends upon, means there is no hard and fast rule on that. Your price cannot change ultimately. If loaded price can be brought down, or you may say no, I don't want to accept this, I have this price. So then that's another way, means if your final price same, it can be redistributed on items, because sometimes what you do, what contractors quantity sales are brilliant when they play with this, means what they do, what they play is like that. If they think excavation will be paid this time and finishing item shall be paid at last, so where excavation price, or you can say foundation concrete, blinding, or whatever items they think at price can come in, payment can come as early as possible, they put enhancement on those price or load them price so that early payment should come. This game all know that this happens at provision. Previously it used to be like that. Now I think it's no chance because everything is programmed, everything is formal. So we may say that that's not that much. I think it's very hard. There's no light here. It's raining outside. Well, I have to continue. No need of stopping this because work is work. We can't stop anything. And I should say, well, so that was part of my contract information. I will now move to another part, and that is concrete part of this, because I will like talk something you can update on that. Now I'll start concrete specification. We will follow up later on also on all these issues. I want to just bring to your notice, Mr. Rahman. This is just title paper I'm using. So this is concrete. I'm going to talk about in between also. I'll give this, and so I'm going to talk about concrete, and I'll close many files here. Already close this file. I'll open this concrete file. I did a lot yesterday on that one. Continue Qatar section 5 concrete, and I'll reach to page which I was yesterday. I completed. I completed. I think which pages. I don't exactly remember what it was. Let me see. What is it? 175. Let me see. Yes, 175. So 175. So structural precaution. No, it was not that. It's before is miscellaneous. So we have to go back. Things are there somewhere on reinforcement, as I remember. Miscellaneous concrete and cement is grout. No, it's not that. One must be already go. Maybe I'm wrong. Yes, it is cement. Hot water concreting, temperature control, placing concrete. Some metals, so placing columns there. Placing temperature. So I should go before the system description. Definition hot weather concrete. So it is hot weather concrete. I should say this is. Testing requirements and protective temperature concrete. And it is list liner metal required, plasticity and concrete structures. I think I should be far behind. Level to testing. Inspection of hardened concrete. Enforcement for measurement. Inspection and testing hardened concrete, and this is yours. Water stops once before that. I don't remember. My problem is that. So this is reinforcement, coating to reinforcement, protective coating to reinforcement. So I had gone through this epoxy, etc., and this we had gone. So testing epoxy coated. So okay, fine, we did that. So now joints were also done. So joints were done, and some metals for that was over. I think construction joints we talked of that one also. Now movement joint we talked of, and now joint sealant, etc. I think joint sealant is there. So joint filler, and let us say movement joints. Now I'm talking of this is joints and water stops and specific construction joints crack. So let us start here. Construction joints. I think it's better to To start with joints itself, so we refresh that one and submetals and that joints. Let's start joints, page 121. Why to be in hurry? Better to get a job. Let me see how weather condition is, because it was raining just it's normal voice of rain. I open my window. There's no rain. Let me hold on, please. Let me see if I can get some snow. Okay, let me see if I can get some air. Oh, sorry. Open this window and see what is there. What is there. So here we go. And some certification here is, and of course, let us see without. Oh my God. So I start again. On this. Let me take some water first. Maybe people are boring. Why I'm wasting your time? Of course, it happens. I'm not good guy. I'm bad guy. I waste time of everybody. I waste my time. I waste everybody's time. I get up in the morning. I waste my time. I don't sleep properly. Little water gone, so some energy has gone in. Okay, gentlemen, I move further. Now joints. Yesterday also I think I talked of it. No problem. Let's talk again. It's no problem. What to do? Let me. I can't spoil my certificate. Let me take some pages of this and what to do? Joints. Now, this part deals with movement and construction joints, slip bearings, water stops, and associated sealants and filler materials. And rated sections of parts are general curing, hot weather concreting, and miscellaneous. This is about joints. And it's I think it's epoxy only was done. Okay, so in this index is joints and general scope references, submittals, quality assurance definitions, and construction joint general, construction joints in water retaining structures, movement joints general, joint fillers, joint sealants, slip bearings general, water stops general, water stops, butyl rubber water stops, and water swelling gaskets. And then, as I told you now, reference is ASTM D1751, standard specification for preformed expansion joint filler for concrete paving and structural concrete, non-extruding and resilient bituminous types, and ASTM DG2240, standard test method for rubber property, 0 meter hardness, and ASTM D3575, standard test method for flexible cellular material made from olefin polymers. I think it's interesting, It says ASTM D3575, and this is standard testing methods for flexible cellular materials made from olefin polymers. BS903, which is physical testing of rubber. BS2571, general purpose flexible PVC compounds for molding and extrusion. BS2782 methods of testing plastics, and then it is 2782 methods of the plastics, and BS6093, that is a design of joints and joining in building construction. Then 7164, which is chemical test for raw and vulcanized rubber, chemical test for raw and vulcanized rubber. And BSEN 1992-3, Eurocode 2, design of concrete structures, liquid retaining and containing structures. And BSEN ISO 7214, that is cellular plastics, polyethylene methods methods of test, cellular plastics, polyethylene methods of test. Then CRD C572, Corps of Engineers specification for polyvinyl chloride water stop, and ISO 9001 quality management system requirements, which is 2015. And then submittals are now, this was a list of codes, then submittals. Scroll again. Submittals. Contractor shall submit for approval by engineer as soon as practicable after acceptance of bid, tender, and not less than 3 weeks before commencement of concreting. Drawings showing his proposals for positions of construction joints having due regard to any that may be shown on drawing and contract drawings. For slide bearings, contractor shall provide at least 3 samples. For slide bearings, contractor shall provide at least 3 samples of proposed material together with manufacturer's technical specifications and recommendations in respect of application and performance. For slip joints, contractor shall provide at least 3 samples of materials proposed together with manufacturer's technical specifications and recommendations in respect of application and performance. For water stops, contractor shall provide at least 3 samples of proposed types, including prefabricated joints and junctions. If applicable, if joints are to be made up on site, provide worked samples, including samples for each make of water stop, where samples from different manufacturers are provided. A contractor must supply a certificate of compliance for joint sealant stating that it meets the requirement of specification. Contractor shall also supply manufacturer's technical and installation data for proposed materials. Contractor shall provide details of previous installations of product with client name, structure name, type of joint, and value of contract. Contractor shall prepare shop drawings that show layout of water stops, spatials, and joints. Now, quality assurance, though, joint sealant, including primers and debonding materials, shall be compatible with each other and shall be supplied from a manufacturer operating ISO 9001 or 9002 quality assurance scheme. That is the latest one. So definitions: construction joint, surface where 2 successive placements of concrete meet. 2 surfaces we discuss again. I am discussing surfaces where 2 successive placements of concrete meet, across which it is desirable to develop and maintain bond between 2 concrete placements and through which reinforcement which may be present is not interrupted. So reinforcement has to continue, and concrete should be 2 parts, but that's joint of both concretes when connected together professionally. You can see that's called a construction joint. Construction joint doesn't allow any expansion or contraction, just construction of two places facilitated by that joint. Due to whatever reason there is a break in concrete or there is a requirement technically or construction joint is whatever happens, it is to be accepted like that. Then contraction joint. Contract itself is contraction, is two point to become smaller, or is a contraction. Means two tracks have to come to one point. It's called contraction. So formed, sawed or tooled. Formed, sawed or tooled grooves in concrete structure to create a weakened plane and regulate location of cracking resulting from dimensional change of different parts of structure, and this is called now expansion joint. A separation between adjoining parts of a concrete structure. It is one part, let us say, it is another part, let us say. There is a gap between two. A separate maybe 10 mm, 20 mm, 15 mm, depending on whatever it is. A separation between adjoining part of a concrete structure, which is provided to allow small relative movements such as those caused by thermal changes to occur independently. Now isolation joint. A separation between adjoining parts of concrete structure. A separation between adjoining part of concrete structure provided to isolate and elements, isolate and element, and thus allow independent movement. So it's separation between adjoining parts of concrete structure. And joint fillers, now materials that are used to fill space within movement joints during construction may provide support to sealant applied subsequently. Sealant is filled in that, so that's joint fillers we call them. And then construction joint we are talking of, where construction joints are required in slabs or beams designed by direct design method DDM. They shall be located within middle third of their spans and at 1/3 up to 1/4 of span in slabs and beams, subject to a maximum spacing of approximately 9 meters. Where slabs are supported by beams, then beams and slabs shall be constructed in one operation. In all cases, for vertical stop boards or stop bands, you can say, of a form to be approved by engineer shall be provided by at end of each section of work, which is to be concreted in one operation, and concrete shall be thoroughly compacted against these stop boards. Where slab beams and walls incorporate construction joints. Where slabs, beams and walls incorporate construction joints, panels shall generally be constructed consecutively. Where this is not possible, a gap not exceeding 1 meter shall be formed between adjacent panels. This gap shall not be completed until a minimum interval of 7 days has expired since casting of most recent panels. Let me repeat it. Put on the specs. Okay, sorry. It says where slab, beams and walls incorporate construction joints, panels shall generally be constructed consequently. Where this is not possible, a gap not exceeding 1 meter shall be formed between adjacent panels. This gap to be concreted until a minimum interval of 7 days has expired since casting of most recent panel. Now size of base for reinforced floors. Size of base for reinforced floors, walls and roofs shall be as shown on drawings, but in no event shall they exceed 7.5 meters in either direction, in no event, and 6 meters when unreinforced or with nominal reinforcement. So 7.5 meter is limit for RCC normal design, and 6 meters when ordinary concrete. So in no way shall they exceed 7.5 meters. Now horizontal construction joint. Horizontal construction joint in walls will only be permitted when wall is continuous with the wall is continuous with floor slab. Walls shall be keyed on cast kickers 150 mm high, or on tops of wall meeting soffits of suspended members. I can't say anything here because of rain. It's very humid. Construction joints in monolithic structures shall be aligned with each other whenever practicable. Before placing new concrete against concrete, that is my God, I'm tired. What to do? I will take some other water better, not so cold, not so hot. I will take ordinary water for one time. Horizontal construction joints walls will only be permitted when wall is continuous with floor slab. Walls shall be keyed on cast kickers 150 mm high, or on tops of walls meeting soffits of suspended members. Construction joints in monolithic structures. Construction joints in monolithic structures shall be aligned with each other whenever practicable. Before placing new concrete against concrete which has already been set. Before placing new concrete against concrete which is already set, later shall be treated to expose aggregate over full section and leave a sound regular surface. Let me see. This is what my legs I can do. I'm sweating. My legs are sweating. So it says before placing new concrete against concrete which has already set, later shall be treated to expose aggregate cover a full section and leave a sound regular surface. This shall be done while concrete is still fresh by means of water spray and light brushing or other means approved by engineer. That's before placing new concrete against concrete which has already set, later shall be treated to expose aggregate over full section and leave a sound irregular surface. This shall be done while concrete is still fresh by means of water spray and light brushing of other means approved by engineer. Immediately before new concrete is placed, all our foreign matter shall be cleaned away and surface moistened. If during course of contract it should become apparent that contractor's method of forming construction joint are not proving effective, engineer may order contractor to execute at contractor's expense such preventive measures as engineer may consider necessary to ensure watertightness of construction joints in further work. Construction joints in water retaining structures. This is a very important part. चाय पीने के बाद भी okay, let me put it all back. So I'm still continuing on concrete, so I just put this number here again. This tag for concrete is still there. This concrete continues. I'm talking of concrete and joints in concrete. That's very important part of this, because joints always cause problem. So construction joints in water retaining structure, which is very important part. Water retaining structure I'm talking. Now, what is water retaining structure? Where water can be kept as a reservoir. It's a swimming pool it is, water tank it is, or you can say some lagoon it may be, some seawater basin it may be, wherever water can be stored, reserved for further use, and that is called water retaining structure of RCC. I'm not talking of plastics here. Construction joints in water retaining structures. यार इनको क्या करूँ मैं, ये पागल हुए लोग. I don't know why they're sending and disturbing everything they disturb for what I don't know. Such illiterate people are there everywhere. Unnecessary sending messages for what I don't know what's meaning behind. I never respond to their messages, but they're sending and sending and sending. Floor may be designed as fully restrained against shrinkage. Construction joints and water retaining structures says floor may be designed as fully restrained against shrinkage and thermal contraction, and should be cast directly onto blinding concrete. I'm not out of energy, I think. I'm short of energy. Take hot water, it doesn't work. I'm getting lazy when I use normal water. So this is what I'm asking. In me. I have no ventilation in the room actually. It's computer room. Construction joints and water retaining structures. So floor may be designed as fully restrained against shrinkage and thermal contraction, and should be cast directly onto blinding concrete. Okay, so this for floor. In large structures, floors shall be designed as a series of continuous strips. In large structures, floors shall be designed as a series of continuous strips with transverse induced contraction joints. Transverse induced contraction joints provided to ensure that cracking occurs in predetermined positions. Longitudinal joints between steps should form contraction joints. What again? I say a large structure, maybe swimming pool or maybe seawater basin, bigger size, more than 100 meter length, 150 meters length, like that. Large structures, floors shall be designed as a series of continuous strips with transverse induced contraction joints provided to ensure that cracking occurs in predetermined positions. Longitudinal joints between strips should form contraction joints. Now, water stops shall be incorporated into construction joints. Lightning here. Water stops shall be incorporated into construction joints. So these water stops are talking of here. Crack induced joints. So it says water stoppers shall be incorporated into construction joints. Crack induced joints, contraction joints, and expansion joints in water retaining structures. Contractors shall ensure that all such joints are watertight and any joint which may leak or weep shall be rectified by contractor to engineer satisfaction. So what's the water stops shall be incorporated into construction joints, crack induced joints, contraction joints and expansion joints in water retaining structures. Contractors shall ensure that all such joints are watertight and any joint which may leak or sweep shall be rectified by contractor to engineer satisfaction. Spacing of construction joints. Spacing of construction joints, crack induced joints, contraction joints and expansion joints. Difficult today. So spacing of construction joints, crack induced joints, contraction joints and expansion joints. Expansion joints in water retaining structures shall be shown on design drawings. Okay, so where position of type 4, where position of type of joints are not indicated on drawings, spacing of construction joints or crack induced joints in water retaining structures shall not exceed 5 meters. 5 meters ultimately. So where position of type of joints are not indicated on drawings, spacing of construction joints or crack induced joints in water retaining structure shall not exceed 5 meters. Where position of type of joints are not indicated, where position of type of joints are not indicated on drawings in ground floor slab, construction joints, crack induced joints, crack contraction joints and expansion joints shall be incorporated into works as appropriate for slabs on grade. Construction joints or crack induced joints should be provided at areas where differences of subgrade and slab support may cause cracks. I'm not getting any support from an active. Slab shall be cast in strips not more than 15 meters. So what I said before is that I read it again because I forget where he was. Where positions or type of joints are not indicated on drawings in ground floor slab, construction joints, crack induced joints and contraction joints and expansion joints shall be incorporated into works as appropriate for slabs on grades. Construction joints or crack induced joints should be provided at areas where differences in subgrade and slab support may cause cracks. Now, slabs shall be cast in strips. Slabs shall be cast in strips not more than 15 meters wide across width of building. Within each strip for both directions, Cracks induced joint shall be provided at areas where cracks are expected and not more than 5 meters spacing. And construction or contraction joints shall be provided at not more than 15 meter spacing. Now, construction or contraction joints shall be provided between adjacent steps. Now, water stop of a type acceptable to engineers shall be embedded in concrete. Water stop shall be made of high quality materials which must retain its resilience through service life of structure for double function of movement and sealing. Surface of water stop should be carefully rounded to ensure lightness of joint even under heavy water pressure. To ensure a good tightness with or without movement of joints. To ensure a good tightness with or without movement of joints, water stop should be provided with anchor parts. Cross section of water stops should be determined in accordance with presumed maximum water pressure and joint movements. Complete works of fixed and welded connections must be carried out strictly in accordance with manufacturer's instructions. Engineers' acceptance shall be obtained by contractors prior to start of work on casting, sequence and layout of jobs. Okay. I think I had to light is not economy is dependent on long. Movement joints. Movement joints that expansion and contraction shall be constructed. What I do, let me open birds. I am opening my push shirt. I am not feeling happy. No problem, let me open this push shirt. Movement joint for expansion and contraction shall be constructed in accordance with detail and dimension shown on drawings or where otherwise ordered by engineer and shall be formed of elements specified. Movement joints in water retaining structures shall be in accordance with details and to dimension shown on drawings. Movement joints, right? Now, in contraction, the contractor shall pay particular attention to effects of climatic extremes on any material which he may design to use of any or on any movement joint and shall submit for approval by engineer his proposals for proper storage. Handling and use of said materials having due regard for any recommendations made by manufacturer in this connection. Now, joint filler is on page 125 of 205. Joint filler. Joint filler shall conform to requirements of PS 6093 or ASTM D1751. This is joint filler or equivalent if they are bituminous type or to requirements of ASTM D3575 or PSE 9 EN ISO 7214 or equivalent if they are polymer foam type. Joint fillers shall be fixed to required dimension. So what joint is conform requires to be 60 vs 6093 or STMOD 175 and equivalent if they are bituminous type, or to requirements of ASTM D375 or BS EN ISO 7214 or equivalent if they are of polymer foam type. Joint fillers shall be fixed to required dimension of joint cross section and provide a firm base for joint sealant. When required between two concrete surfaces as a resilient movement joint, filler shall be an approved granulated cork bound with insoluble synthetic resin. When required between block work and concrete as a low density movement joint, filler or for building details, it shall be an approved bitumen impregnating fiber board or bituminous disturbing for nothing. I don't know why people love to disturb. Why can't they sit at home peacefully? Joint, I forgot what I was doing. Nonsense, this guy, What I was doing is, when required, between block work and concrete as a low density movement joint filler or for building details, it shall be an approved bitumen impregnated fiber board or performed closed cell polyethylene. That means one is hot and people are disturbing and no ventilation. When required between block work and concrete as a low density movement joint filled or for building details, it shall be an approved bitumen impregnated fiber board or preformed closed cell polyethylene. Impregnated bitumen fiber board, or this is between concrete and block work. Preformed closed cell polyethylene. Now joint sealants. Oh light, come on light, don't tease me. At joint, all joints to be sealed shall be formed and grit blasted to remove all traces of deleterious materials such as foam oil or curing compounds, and all to remove surface latencies from sides of joints. Joint shall be dry prior application of priming. Where use of grit blasting is not possible, contractor may propose alternative methods subject to approval of engineer. Areas adjacent to joint shall be protected using masking tape. Areas adjacent to joint shall be protected using masking tape. Sides of joint shall be primed with relevant primer as recommended by sealant manufacturer and sealant material applied in accordance with the manufacturer's instructions. Let me take some water. I'm feeling thirsty. I think because no air here. I'm dehydrating. see his position of pain. Here. Just a minute, please let me come back. Oh my God. No, it's not very bad weather. Humidity and only humidity, nothing else. Only humidity. I don't think I'll get it for us together. If light is not available, what shall I do? Now, sealant material shall be non-block. Sealant material shall be a non-biodegradable, multi-component pitch polyurethane elastomeric joint sealant, carefully selected as appropriate for specific climate and environmental exposure conditions expected. I repeat, sealant material shall be a non-biodegradable, multi-component pitch polyethylene elastomeric joint sealant, carefully selected as appropriate for specific climate. Carefully selected as appropriate for specific climate and environmental exposure conditions expected. Alternative types of sealant will be considered, including epoxy polyurethane, rubber bitumen, and acrylic, subject to requirements of specifications and approval of engineer. Where joint sealant is to be contact with protective coating. Where joint sealant is to be in contact with protective coating, contractor shall satisfy engineer that sealant and protective coatings are compatible. Sealant shall exhibit following properties. I think let me say this side better and keep fanning myself. Fanning what? Fanning by paper? Yes, by paper. I'm not comfortable. Sealant shall exhibit following properties. Movement accommodation factor, that is 25%. Movement accommodation factor. Sure A hardness, this is 20 to 25, and solid content 100%. Service temperature range 0 to 90 degrees Celsius. Chemical resistance to sewage, subca mineral acids and alkalis with width to depth ratio to 1. Width to depth ratio to 1. I repeat this, this is property of that. Let us say sealant shall exhibit following properties. Moment accommodation factor 25%. Moment accommodation factor. Sure A hardness 20 to 25. I don't think I'll be able to continue for long. It's just 1 hour of this video. Movement accommodation factor 25%, show a hardness 20 to 25%, 20 to 25, and solid content 100%, and service temperature up to 0 to 90 degrees Celsius, chemical resistance to sewage, subca, mineral acids, and alkalis. That should be chemical resistant to them, and width to depth ratio 2:1. Where shown on drawings, sealant shall also be suitable for use with potable water. All surfaces, preparations, priming, mixing, and application shall be carried out in strict accordance with manufacturer's instructions. Surface preparation, priming, mixing, and application shall be carried out in strict accordance with manufacturer's instructions. Sealant shall have a proven track record of no less than 10 years under similar local conditions. This was about that. Now slip bearing. I don't think I will continue this. Sorry, I'm not feeling comfortable here. Let's start this fan. This fan will fly everything away. Problem is that. Let me start that fan for 10-15 minutes. I think that should come. Let us see how it goes. Put that ceiling wall fan. Let me start wall fan for a few moments, and see how it works. If it can work or not. Let us say something about that. It's not giving its preference. It's not giving. Something is coming. For 5 minutes, let's see. I'll put that off then. Now slip bearing. Let us see whether it's possible to do with that or not. Slip bearing shall be performed low friction bearing. Slip bearings shall be performed low friction bearings, strips to form a thin sliding joint. Low friction bearings, strips to form a thin sliding joint. They shall be extruded from specially formulated polyethylene to form a durable lamina resistant to sewage, mineral acids and alkalis, solvent and weathering. Slip bearing shall be applied in 2 layers. Slip bearing shall be applied 2 layers, with bottom layer bonded to substrata. In bottom layer bonded to substrata with a high quality solvent borne adhesive based on polychloroprene rubber. Substrata shall be clean and free from deleterious materials. Substrata shall be clean and free from deleterious materials such as foam oil or curing compounds and surface latents. Surface shall be level and even along full length of joint. wind again. It's heavy wind again, I think. Heavy wind blowing outside. No question of light then. See, very fast wind is blowing outside. No way we can get light. Well, let's continue how much. See, voice of wind. So slip bearing shall be applied in 2 layers. That's okay. In 2 layers with bottom layer bonded to substrata with a high quality solvent bond adhesive, based on polychloroprene rubber. Substrata shall be clean and free from deleterious materials such as foam oil or curing compounds. And surface shall be level and even along full length of joints. Applied loads for slip bearings shall not exceed 0.7 MPa. Applied load for slip bearings shall not exceed 0.7 MPa. Operating at temperatures shall be up to 80 degrees Celsius, and coefficient of friction shall not exceed 0.15. We go to water stops. Water stops and associated materials shall be by manufacturers with a minimum of 10 years experience in field of engineering waterproof products. PVC water stops shall be suitable for storage, handling, installation and services within a range of 15 to 65 degrees Celsius. These PVC water stops shall be suitable for storage, handling, installation and service within a range of 15 to 65 degrees Celsius. Storage, handling, installation and services. Water stops, this is. So now water stops says that how much I have got this charging is 51%. Okay. So water stop shall be high performance system. Forming a continuous network as shown on drawings. Side jointing is to be limited to build joints. Side jointing is to be limited to butt joints and shall be performed strictly in accordance with manufacturer's instructions. Now centrally placed water stop. I think it's rain again. Centrally placed water stop shall employ center bulbs. I think that the rain. I should close it. I should close my windows. I don't know, it is not a supportive day for me. It's not a supportive day for me. However, what can I do? However, what can I do? I don't know what to do. Then take some water for relaxing. I think today is waste of time. I will close it off some time or let us see what to do. Okay, let's do as much as we can do. That's all. Sometimes your help is controlled. So we say, let me repeat, water stop shall be high performance system forming a continuous network as shown on drawings. Side jointing is to be limited to butt wall joints and shall be performed strictly in accordance with manufacturer's instructions. Centrally placed water stops shall employ center bulb shutter stop with ribs on web sections. This is centrally placed water stop shall employ center bulb. Now, externally placed water stop shall have ribs on either sides of center of water stop. Water bar used at locations of expansion joints shall have a bulb in center to accommodate movements. Okay, now water stop shall have a minimum thickness of 3 mm. Minimum test performance data for PVC water stop shall be as follows. Tensile strength greater than 12 MPa and elongation at break is 300%. Elongation at break means you pull it, it will go 300% and then break. Hardness shore 80 to 90. Materials shall be tested in accordance with BS 2571 or BS 2782 or CRD C572 or ASTM D2240. Butyl rubber water stops. Butyl rubber water stops shall have properties stated in table 12.1 when tested in accordance with BS 903. What is that? Let's see. Table 12.1 Properties, requirements of butyl rubber water stops. I'm just speaking, there are 3 columns in this. one is BS903, and one is property, and one is requirements. So this is only BS903 is given here, and there are five serials here. Part A1, Part A26, Part A2, Part A2, and Part A/6. Now Part A1, property says density. Part A26, it is hardness. Part A2, it is tensile strength. Part A2 again is elongation at break point, and Part A/6, water absorption, 48 hours immersion. These are properties. And what are requirements that are given in third column? So I speak that now. This is Part A1. This I am talking from BS903, BS903. Part A1, that is property, that is density. It is requirement of 1100 kilogram per meter cube plus minus 5%. 1100 kilogram per meter cube. Then Part A26, that is hardness, which is 60 to 70 IRHD. Then it is Part A2, tensile strength, and this is not less than 17.5 Newton per millimeter square. Part A2, elongation at break point. This is not less than 450%. And Part A/6, water absorption, 48 hours immersion, not exceeding 5%. Butyl rubber water stops shall be suitable for storage, handling, installation and service within a temperature of 0 to 40 degrees Celsius. Now, water swelling gaskets. Water swelling gaskets. Should I take 2 minutes relaxation better? Your cooperation is required in this. Today we have very bad weather, no electricity, rain and thunderstorm, and no fan here because my inverter is not that powerful. So I'm just trying to do as much as possible today, and if I can't afford health close down, what to do? So water swelling gasket, where active sealing is required. Active sealing is required for critical areas. Water stop shall be hydrophilic polymer, modified chloroprene rubber strips. Rubber strips shall conform to following properties as applicable: water pressure resistance, that is 5 bar or 50 meters, expansion in contact with water, this is 2 into original SRE, reversible, and application temperature is -30 to +70 degrees Celsius. This is water swelling gasket. I read it again. Where active sealing is required for critical areas, water stop shall be hydrophilic polymer modified chloroprene rubber strips. This is water stop shall be hydrophilic polymer modified chloroprene rubber strips. Rubber strips shall conform to following properties as applicable: water pressure resistance is 5 bars, expansion in contact with water, that is 2 into original SRE, and reversible it is, and application temperature is -30 to +70. So this is about 100 degrees range. Selected rubber strips shall be available for 3 exposures. Selected rubber strips shall be available for Three exposures: fresh water, sea water, chemicals if condition demands or up upon engineer's request. So three conditions: fresh water, sea water, chemicals if condition demands or upon engineer's request. Supplier shall furnish references upon request of engineer. Now we will go to inspection and testing of hardened concrete. Inspection and testing is now different chapter of concrete, part 13, inspection and testing of hardened concrete. You can wait here, hold on for 2 minutes. What I do, you don't know. The morning has gone waste. So inspection and testing of hardened concrete. This index is general, it is scope, references, submittals, quality assurance, non-compliance of works and general fieldwork requirements. Then it is concrete course, concrete course and general drilling course, testing of our strength, assessment of strength, and then reinforcement cover, that is reinforcement cover measurement, ultrasonic pulse meters measurements, ultrasonic pulse measurement, and then general, that is selection of test locations, execution of tests, and estimated in situ concrete strength. Then there is radiography of concrete, that is then it is surface hardness, and in that is general method of test, equipment, reporting, and chemical contents, that's sampling, laboratory testing. This is index of that. So we say inspection and testing of hardened concrete I will talk of. It's page 129 to 05. Yes, approximately only half we have not covered yet. To be very frank, this concrete is very long specification in 2017. I think it was 14, whatever it is, I can do this. So I'll say general. Let me set this side a little better for better exchange of wind through paper fan and paper card. I'm just cooling my legs. I cannot take my shot because in live, noise on live video, it's against ethics, so I'm feeling in trouble here. So we go to now inspection and testing of hardened concrete. Now this part of specification, that scope, covers inspection, sampling, testing of hardened concrete. Concrete which has not only strength, but which has achieved strength also, that is called hardened concrete. Hard, which has become hard. Related section and parts are as follows, and this is part 6, property requirement. Now references in this are and this is ACI 214 4R, that is guide for obtaining cores and interpreting compressive strength results. Means guide for obtaining cores from concrete and interpreting compressive strength results. Then other one is ACI 318 ERTA. So before was ACI 214R 4R. Now ACI 318 ERTA, building code requirements for structural concrete. ACI 31808 and commentary. Now ASTM C42, that is standard test method for obtaining and testing drilled cores and sawed beams of concrete. Now, ASTM C823, that is standard practice for examination and sampling of hardened concrete in constructions. BS1881, that is 1 to 4 testing concrete methods for analysis of hardened concrete. Now BS1881 is 204 testing concrete recommendations on use of electromagnetic cover meters. Okay. Then BSEN 12350 testing fresh concrete. BSEN 125041 testing concrete in structures, code specimens, taking, examining and testing in compression. BSEN 12504-2 non-destructive testing, determination of rebound numbers. Non-destructive testing, determination of rebound numbers, that is BSEN 125042. BSEN 125043 2005, which is testing concrete in structures, determination of pull out force. BSEN 12504-4 determination of ultrasonic pulse velocity. In BSEN 13791 assessment of in situ compressive strength in structures and precast concrete components. GSO ISO 19206, this is from Gulf, and this is testing of concrete. Part 6 sampling, preparation and testing of concrete core. Now this is list of references of submittals they are going to reach. Submittals. Okay, hold my feet better. Sorry, I have to pull my legs. Contractor shall submit to engineer his quality assurance procedures for particular parts of testing work and testing work that will be carried out. And what is that? Contractor shall submit for engineer's approval curriculum vitae of supervisor proposed for this work. So curriculum vitae is first required. Supervisor going to work on this test. Alright, then now contact shall through testing agency that is agency prepare a factual report. Contact shall through testing agency prepare a factual report that identifies test methods used and test results. Report shall also identify any unusual results or pertinent information relating to testing. Report shall be presented in hard and electronic copies. Now for each of test results, contractor shall identify precision or repeatability of particular sampling and testing method. Now this shall be as given from experience of particular test by laboratory or as expected from information in particular test standard. Now in place tests will be valid only if tests have been conducted using properly calibrated equipment in accordance with recognized standards, procedures and acceptable correlation. Between test results and concrete compressive strength has been established and is submitted. New non-destructive tests shall not be used as sole basis. Non-destructive tests shall not be used as sole basis for accepting or rejecting concrete. But they may be used to evaluate concrete when standard cured strengths fail to meet specified strength criteria. Now quality requirement. All field and laboratory testing of concrete shall be carried out by an independent laboratory approved by engineer. Evaluation of concrete structures needed when an existing structure is to be modified or redesigned. To assess structural adequacy when doubt arises about compressive strength in structure due to defective workmanship. Deterioration of concrete due to fire or other causes when an assessment of in situ concrete strength is needed during construction to assess structural adequacy in case of non-conformity of compressive strength obtained from standard test specimen. Assessment of conformity of in situ concrete compressive strength when specified in specifications or product standards. Non-compliance of work. So non-compliance of work. Now, non-compliance work, non-compliance of work. If 28-day work, if 28-day works test cubes as defined in clause 6, 6.6 of this section fail to meet minimum criteria, fail to meet minimum criteria, engineer shall direct contractor to carry out in-place methods to estimate concrete strength by non-destructive testing, in situ drilling of concrete cores, or load testing. If parts or elements of structure made from defective batch or batches of concrete as represented by works, test cubes shall be identified by engineer, and based on this information, engineer shall instruct contractor on required number and position of concrete cores. Engineer shall review concrete core test results in conjunction with BSEN 13791 or ACI 318, whichever is applicable to structural design. Based on assessment, engineer shall decide acceptability of concrete in structural element, and may either accept concrete, instruct that certain remedial works are carried out, instruct that element is replaced. Now, general fieldwork requirements. It's regarding concrete, hardened concrete. General fieldwork requirements. Contractor shall make all arrangements to provide safe, stable access to testing locations. General fieldwork requirements. Contractor shall make all arrangements to provide safe, stable access to testing locations. When gaining access to testing locations, when gaining access to testing locations, and whilst testing, contractors shall take care not to damage structure or leave it in an untidy or unclean state. Alright, now continue. Some drowsiness because of heat. When obtaining access to testing locations and whilst testing, contractors shall take care not to damage structure or leave it in an untidy or unclean state. Contractor shall take precautions to ensure that cooling water from concrete, cooling water from concrete coring, other operations is discharged such as not to cause a mess or damage in the interior or exterior. So it says contractor shall take precautions to ensure that cooling water from concrete pouring or other operations is discharged such as not to cause mess or damage interior or exterior parts of structure. Now, contractor shall be responsible for arranging water supply required for testing. Contractor shall arrange for suitable power supplies. Contractor shall arrange for suitable power supplies where testing is being carried out on an occupied structure. A power supply from a building services may not available, and contractor shall make arrangements for power supply and extension leads of adequate length. Contractor shall appoint a qualified field supervisor to coordinate manage field work. Supervisor shall have not less than 5 years experience of such work. Now, before starting work, engineer with contract supervisor mark positions where field testing is to be carried out, a unique referencing system to identify. You will also fall. Okay, you fall. I take your bottle fell. Circular bottles generally fell before starting work. Before starting work, engineer with contract to supervise meet positions where field testing is to be carried out. A unique referencing system to identify each sample of test locations will be adopted, and this will either be referred to a sketch plan or drawing or by a detailed description used throughout report to identify test locations. Again, I read this because this is an important point. Let me see with this man. I will put off this now. So it is before starting work, engineer with contractor supervisors would mark positions where field testing is to be carried out. Unique reference system. Oh bloody fool, get lost. Unique reference system to identify each sample of testing location will be adopted, and this will either be referenced or sketch plan or drawings or by a detailed description used throughout. This here, bloody get lost from here. Unnecessary discrimination. What these bloody want? I have to say, no. These bloody fools, what they want? Not necessarily. It is talking second time. They don't know I'm talking to these people. Interfering for nothing. They don't understand anything they're talking. I don't know what they want. These bloody homosexuals. Before starting work, engineer with contractor supervisor mark positions where field testing is to be carried out. Unique referencing system to identify each sample of testing locations will be adopted, and this will either be referenced on sketch, plans or drawings or by a detailed description used throughout report to identify test locations. If testing is being carried out on an occupied structure, contractor shall coordinate with owner or operator of structure to arrange detailed program for works and gain access to various parts of structure. As soon as laboratory test results are available, these shall be submitted by hand or fax to engineer in draft form. Testing laboratory or technical bureau assigned by testing agency, assigned by contractor, agency assigned by contractor shall provide a technical report providing visual information and analyzing test conducted. All core holes, dust samples holes and exploratory investigation areas shall be reinstated with a proprietary non-shrink cementitious repair mortar. Preparation of hole or area before reinstatement shall be carried out for recommendation of repair mortar supplier. Now, before filling any core holes, dust sample holes or exploratory investigation areas, contractor shall allow engineer time to inspect these areas and obtain written confirmation from engineer before filing. Concrete course, general, no title now, I think more than 2 hours ago. Concrete course in general, what is charge status? What's my charge status? Well, we're not charging, but 72% available, so it's working. Now, before filling any core holes, dust sample holes or exploratory investigation areas, contractor shall allow engineer time to inspect these areas and obtain written confirmation from engineer before filling. Concrete course. Concrete course now we are going to talk, so we are talking course now general. Now this is actually very important part of concrete course. We cannot take it lightly. This decides whether this concrete has to move continue or we have to either reduce use of this concrete because its strength is less, or we have to take off this concrete. Depends upon what sort of work is that. Because reduced concrete strength is no value when you need some strength like that. Okay, now it is in drilling and testing of cores. Drilling and testing of cores shall be carried out in accordance with BSEN 13791 and BSEN 125041 or GSO ISO 1920-6 or ASTM C42 and ACI 214.4 whichever is applicable to structural design. I just inform you that I am using these standard references from specs only. I'm not confirmed whether these are same, but only for reference I'm telling you. You may confirm from your records. Maybe there's some error on these, or this error. I'm not sure about that, but because important is procedure. And these are references of EN or BS or ACI or GSO or STM, whatever reasons. One is BS, one is BSEN, then one is GSO, ISO, and ASTM and ACI. Means there are so many for same thing. So it's not very important for me, but if you can verify that yourself. If you use that, if you go to references, you can find them on Google itself. You may be sure about that, but as the explanation is concerned, it's more important than that. Now, all supplementary information listed by the relevant standards shall be included in test. All supplementary information. I think my code test. It's my code test rather than code test. All of supplementary information listed by relevant standards shall be included in test report with photographs of course, and it's all supplementary information listed by I'm trying to blow my skin off, waist and stomach, and even though I'm getting sweating, it's not exactly sweating, it's just working and assessment of in situ compressive strength for particular test region shall be based on at least 3 cores. So we need 3 samples. Consideration shall be given to any structural implications resulting from taking cores. Diameter of concrete core shall be at least 100 mm for strength evaluation, unless a clear spacing of reinforcement is less than 100 mm and approved by engineer. Then the preferred minimum core diameter is 3 times. The preferred core diameters is 3 times the nominal maximum size of core aggregate. So 20 mm and 60 mm. So we are taking 100 mm. It shall be at least 2 times nominal maximum size of concrete aggregate. Now, engineer will advise required number and location of cores. I think I'll put up this light only because it's clear sky now. I can put up this light, it's not required. I have to waste extra load on let me see if I can put up this light. I can read, no problem. I will do it. If I need to open it again, put it on again. So let me see if I can be seen on this or not. That's the important point. Oh, my face is visible, it doesn't matter. So say what I said, preferred minimum core diameter as core diameter is 3 times. Bloody hell, why are you coming again and again? I can't understand these people. What problem they have got? Preferred, nobody is asking any question, just sending photographs or nothing. Ask questions if you want to learn something. I don't need a photo, is a message for what? Good morning, good evening, all that for what? I'm sitting for good morning, good evening, I'm not sitting for that. If I have no question of you, go away, khalas. I don't need you. It's not that type of friends. You have to sit with you and sleep with you. What nonsense it is here. Preferred minimum core diameter is 3 times the nominal maximum size of core aggregate. that shall be at least 2 times nominal maximum size of course aggregate. Now, engineer shall decide or shall advise the required number of locations of course if result of initial curing are inconclusive. Engineer may instruct that further course be taken at certain location or extracted locations. Now, unless otherwise directed by engineer, contractor shall ensure that coring does not cut through any reinforcement steel. Required diameter and depth of concrete course shall be as stated in table 13.1. What's table 13.1 here? It has 3 columns. This is a minimum distance of sampling of concrete for testing purpose, ASTM C823. I also took course sometimes in 1996 on one project. 96, yes, 96 or 97 it was, I don't exactly remember, maybe 98. There was a failure of our slab of one building in Abu Dhabi, and it took another 6 months to evaluate that. Finally, it was okay, but it took a lot of time, but we did not stop our activities on that. There's some problem on laboratory testing, or well, leave it. Minimum depth of sampling of concrete for testing purposes, ASTM C823. Types of construction, thickness of section and minimum depth to be sampled, that's meters now. In first is types of construction. Slabs, pavements, it can be slabs, it can be pavements, walls, linings, foundations, structural elements accessible from one side only. Or in second is suspended slabs. Oh my god. It can be suspended slabs, walls, conduits, foundations, structural elements exposed to atmosphere at 2 or more sides, and concrete products. And third is massive sections. There are 3 cases described in this table 13.1 under ASTM C823. The second column is thickness of section, meters. So for first item, slab, pavements, walls, linings, foundations, structural elements accessible from one side only. It is in one case 0.3 or less thickness of section, and other case 0.3 or greater. So in first case, entire depth can be taken, is 0.3. Minimum depth to be sampled is meters, is entire depth, while in 0.3 to greater it's 0.3 meter only. Now in second case, suspended slabs, walls, conduits, foundations and structural elements exposed to atmosphere at 2 or more sides, and this is concrete products, and its first case is 0.5 or less, and other case is 0.5 to 0.6. So first case minimum depth is entire depth, it's 0.15 or less, and second case is 1/2 thickness of 0.15, whichever is greater, 1/2 thickness of 0.15, whichever is greater. And in third case, massive section it is, so it is 0.6 or greater thickness of section is, so we'll take 0.6. So 0.6 depth or greater. Now the requirements of table 30.1 may not provide quantities of dimensions of samples that are required for all tests. In that case, necessary additional quantity of concrete in pieces of approximate minimum size should be taken at each sampling location. When suspended slabs are cored, it is desirable to leave lower 25 mm uncored so as not to loose core by its falling from barrel and to make it easier to patch core hole. Again, I am telling you an important point. When suspended slabs are cored, it is desirable to leave lower 25 mm uncored as so as not to lose core by its falling from barrel and to make it easier to patch core hole. Now drilling cores. Uh, 6:14 is now. I don't know whether I will be able to talk on FIDIC this day. It's very bad weather, very low light here. I'm feeling trouble today. Drilling cores. Before beginning coring operations, before beginning coring operations, contractor shall use proprietary cover meter to, it's called cover meter, to identify position of steel reinforcement bars at testing location. Engineer may instruct that core is taken through concrete without hitting any reinforcement, or engineer may instruct that core is taken in a position where it is expected reinforcement will be cut in order to provide a sample of reinforcement to check its condition. Location of all drilling points shall be chosen so that core contains no steel parallel to its length. Now, before capping, the core shall have a length of at least 95% of its diameter. Before capping, core shall have a length of at least 95% of its diameter. Once prepared for test, core shall have a length of at least equal to diameter and not more than 1.2 times diameter. Understand what this is? Maybe there's a confusion here, is it? Before capping, it says before capping, core shall have a length of at least 95% of its diameter. Once prepared for test, core shall have a length at least equal to diameter and not more than 1.2 times diameter. Okay. So 0.9, 95% of diameter and 1.2 times diameter. Now cores of both 100 mm and 150 mm nominal diameter may be tested provided that aggregate size does not exceed 20 mm and 40 mm respectively. So if it's 40 mm, 150 mm diameter. If it's 20 mm, then 100 mm diameter. Why? Where possible, 150 core should be taken to reduce variability due to keep drilling and increase reliability of testing. Unless reinforcement is congested, and use of 100 core will reduce possibility that core will contain steel, or it is necessary to restrict sampling to the length of less than 150 diameter. Where size of section precludes use of 100 or 150 cores may be used with permission of engineer. During drilling operations, a log of observations that may affect interpretation of core samples shall be prepared. Now, during drilling operations, a log of observations that may affect interpretation of core samples shall be prepared. It's more than, what time it is? 6:21. I am tired, yeah. During drilling operations, a log of observations that may affect interpretation of core samples shall be prepared. Oh my God. I am helpless today. So, if instructed by engineer, so we have to say log observation that may affect interpretation of course sample shall be prepared, and if instructed by engineer, immediately after core has been cut and removed and structure, a carbonation test will be carried out. Carbonation and structure carbonation test will be carried out by using 1 or 2% solution of phenolphthalein poured over cut surface. This is carbonation test of phenolphthalein poured over cut surface. Photograph shall be taken of cut core with phenolphthalein solution applied to provide a record of test. If during drilling of core, यार क्यों नहीं रखते यहाँ पे ये पागल गिरी जा रहे हैं ऐसे. If during drilling of core collapses due to weak honeycombed. If during drilling of core collapses due to weak honeycombed or defective concrete. Core collapses due to weak honeycombed or defective concrete. Contractor shall all stop drilling operation and carry out testing at an adjacent location as advised by engineer. If in testing of when testing at second location, core again breaks, If during drilling of core collapses due to weak honeycombed or defective concrete shall stop drilling operation and carry out testing at any adjacent location as advised by engineer. If when testing at second location, if when testing at second location, core again breaks due to honeycombed or defective concrete, freshly cut core shall be retained for reference and a note made on condition. Now testing for strength. Now compressive strength of field concrete के वो bloody hell क्या करूँ मैं इनका यार I'm tired of these people. Really, I'm very tired of these people. They have no work except sending messages, unnecessary messages to people. They have no work at all. Minds are unnecessary sending and disturbing me. So testing for strength. What I do today, no alternative. Compressive strength of field concrete core shall be assessed in accordance with BSEN 13791. Details of concrete core in accordance with BSEN 13791 shall be recorded and 2 photographs on either side of core taken. When there is reinforcement in core, size and type of bar shall be noted along with its cover to concrete surface. Condition of reinforcing bars shall be noted with detailed description of any corrosion of reinforcement. Before carrying out compressive strength testing of core, contractor shall inform engineer to allow him to witness testing of concrete if required. Crushed core samples shall be retained by laboratory and only disposed of after written approval of by engineer. Now good morning, Mr. Nurul Khan. Today is not good day for this disturbance in weather. And Chaudhary Raj, good morning. You're welcome. It's difficult for today. It's bad weather, no light here. So I'm finding difficulty. Well, however, it's moving, and whatever good or bad, it's okay. What to do? I don't have some parallel system to help me. So again, I'm talking of testing of cores. So we'll say crushed core samples shall be retained by laboratory and only disposed of after written approval by engineer. Assessment of strength, that's important part now. Assessment of strength. Estimated in situ strength of concrete. Estimated in situ strength of concrete shall be calculated from core result using BSEN 13791, ACI 214.4 or ACI 318, whichever is applicable by structural design. We tested, we reserved, we got this result, we made sure we used ACI that time because there was no EN in 1996 or 7. We used ACI 318 for our assessment. Now reinforcement cover measurements. Measurement of cover to reinforcement. Steel and other metallic items in concrete shall be carried out in accordance with BS 1881 part 204 using an electromagnetic device that estimates position, depth and size of reinforcement. That's important. Now measurement of cover to reinforcement. Reinforcing steel and other metallic items in concrete shall be carried out in accordance with BS 1881 part 204 using an electromagnetic device that estimates position, depth and size of reinforcement. Locations for checking cover. Locations for checking cover and spacing between measurements shall be advised by engineers based on objective of investigation. Contractor shall carry out calibrations of electric magnetic device for particular bar size to allow bar diameter to be measured. While testing, orientation of steel bars shall be checked. So, saying while testing, orientation of steel bar shall be checked. Now, electromagnetic device shall incorporate scale or digital display range and shall be calibrated in accordance with BS 1881 part 204. When calibrated in this manner, indicated cover to steel reinforcement shall be accurate to within plus minus 5% or plus minus 2%. Let me repeat, and maybe I forget them. Electromagnetic device shall incorporate scale or digital display range and shall be calibrated in accordance with BS 1881 and okay. Now again I have to read this. Electromagnetic device shall incorporate scale or digital display range and shall be calibrated in accordance with BS 1881 part 204. When calibrated in this manner, indicated cover to steel reinforcement shall be accurate to within plus minus 5%. When calibrated in this manner, indicated cover to steel reinforcement shall be accurate to within plus minus 5% or plus minus 2 mm, whichever is greater cover over working range given by manufacturer. Now, which were created or the well with overworking drink. Cover meter. Let me continue. Because I'm getting tired and sleepy. Cover meter shall be used in accordance with manufacturer's instructions and checks on zero carried out as specified. Search Search head shall be traversed. Search head shall be traversed systematically across concrete, and where reinforcement where reinforcement is located, rotated until maximum distance with electromagnetic. Then cover meter shall be used in accordance with the manufacturer's instructions and checks on zero carried out as specified. Search head shall be traversed systematically across concrete. Such head shall be traversed systematically across concrete, and where reinforcements are located or rotated until maximum disturbance and electromagnetic field is indicated by meter. Covered reinforcement shall be noted along with axis of reinforcement. Terrible day today. Care should be taken to avoid interference from other metallic sources or magnetic materials. Cover 2 reinforcement shall be noted along with axis of reinforcement, and cover shall also be recorded on concrete surface with chalk or suitable non-permanent marking pen. Test report on cover shall include following information: date, that's first information, okay, time and place of test, description of structure or component under investigation. So test date of make and type of cover meter used, location of test area, make and type of cover meter used, date of last laboratory calibration of cover meter, details of site calibration of cover meter, indicated values of cover, estimate accuracy of quantitative measurements, configuration of steel reinforcement. So what I'm actually noting is done here. Test report on cover shall include following information, that is for cover: date, time and place of test, description of structure or component under investigation. Location of test tubes, test areas. Make and type for meter used, date and last laboratory calibration of cover meter, details of site calibration of cover meter, indicated values of cover, estimated accuracy of quantitative measurements, and configuration of steel reinforcement. After that, ultrasonic pulse measurements. It's 135 up to 0 long. Actually, 1 minute, please. Ultrasonic pulse measurements. General ultrasonic velocity test. Sit this way now. Okay. It says that ultrasonic pulse measurement. Ultrasonic velocity test equipment shall be capable of measuring transit time of a pulse vibration through concrete. Length of pulse part between transducer equipment and where's the through What I think I know to do. Very hard. How can I put this like ultrasonic pulse velocity testing shall be carried out in accordance with provisions of BS EN 12504-4. Velocity shall be measured at a number of locations around structure and velocity contour of structure established. A minimum of 40 velocities shall be measured for each structural element. Sleep situation. So velocity shall be measured at number of locations around a structure and a velocity contour of structure established. A minimum of 40 velocities shall be measured for each structural element. Selection of test locations. I should close or I don't know what to do. Just another hour. Whenever possible. This is selection of test locations. Whenever possible, direct transmission arrangements shall be used. Trans- Transducers shall be mounted on specially formed molded surface. I think it's difficult to work. Oh my god. I should close, I think it's better. 1 hour more, not possible. कितना हो गया देखते हैं यार. Night is no expectation today. height problem, fan problem, and talking problem. Wherever possible, direct transmission arrangements shall be used. Transducers shall be mounted on specially formed molded surface. Minimum path minimum path length shall be 100 mm for concrete, in which nominal maximum size of aggregate is 20 mm, or less than 150 mm for concrete, in which nominal size of aggregate is between 20 and 40. Minimum path, I think 20 is minimum path length shall be 100 mm for concrete, in which nominal maximum size of aggregate is 20 mm or less than 150 mm for concrete, in which nominal maximum size is aggregate is between 20 and 40 mm. But path length shall not be longer than required to detect small regions. Now, I suppose it's difficult to work like this. Can't concentrate in this hot weather. I wasting time of others also. 2 hours 15 minutes. Let's continue for 3 hours and close it. System is completely down today. Where concrete contains steel, pulse velocity shall be adjusted in accordance with requirement of BSEN 125044. Location that contains reinforcement directly along close to pulse paths shall be avoided. Where the positioning is not possible, semi-direct transmission measurement, where transducers are placed location that contain reinforcement directly. So I have taken this. When this position not possible, semi-direct transmission measurements where transducers are placed on adjacent faces of concrete may be used. Now, execution of test. Well, I think I am not doing very efficiently today. Because of this, I better take it off. I cannot do efficiently my talk. It's no light. And I tried my best. See, for last 3 hours, for more than 3 hours, first I started today. There's some problem in computer, or I missed that video, small video. I tried to be then. I started this. Now it's about battery charge is okay. I think it's about 99. Charge is not a problem. Problem is only light. I think since 3 o'clock there's no light. So there's been no light. So it's now 7 o'clock approximately. 4 hours, 3.5 hours I think. Rain and long. I am not getting comfortable today. So I try to talk about COVID, which is spreading further now. According to WHO reporting today, it's running fast. And this here concrete, I started from yesterday's talk. Now it's for core test. Core drilling is very important because when you can't get results of actual strength, when your slab cubes fails, when you are not sure of strength of concrete, what concrete it is, means compressive strength of based on cubes fail. There are many methods available to assess concrete, but those methods are not directly linked. Important result is core. There is no direct non-destructive test also, and even load test will not give you exact what is value because steel should lose with that. So core is an exclusive, drilling core, extraction core is an exclusive way to know equivalent strength of core concrete. Core is drilled out. I faced this problem a while ago. Actually, I was the company in 1996 in Abu Dhabi, and our site people laid our site engineers laid eighth slab of a building, and that cube failed. I still remember that cube failed, and it took with material engineers and complete research were done. How it happened? We were not able to get point, but there was some saying that the site engineer did not care for curing, or neither for cubes nor for slab. That was a deadliest point of his, but we could not say that officially. Well, that material engineer, he told that better you can try, don't tell someone, and cure now, cure more. And by curing we noted that this concrete was getting more compressive strength. We did one test, then we did the second test, then the third test, and it starting increasing strength, compressive strength. But we were doing that on our except one test on ours own without approval. Then a lot of correspondence made to municipal engineer is Huda, this municipal engineer Balabia we call it. That was in Abu Dhabi. Then we got in last sample, last test, it was coming nearly to whatever was expected. So we got that later on. Even load test was conducted. Other than this, load test was conducted. We did all tests in those days. All tests is skilled hammer test and whatever tests are explained now. All we did. So it took about 6 months, and we got clearance from municipality as well as from that consultant that he got some misconception because of laboratory defective testing machine, and we later on we did chemical testing, we did cube testing, we did core testing, we did load testing, we did square wave testing. There's no test left that we did not do on that. And we wrote many letters, much on that. And I was surprised actually after long gap of those days. Ultimately, we tested core, second, third core, I mean to say, and this working. They are testing machines. The same thing we used to do universal testing machine in our college life. Same thing it was. So that test history, so I remember this was 98, I remember 97 or 8. It was, and I was pulled because I knew this, I knew some testing. And how it is right. Don't worry, they didn't write. They didn't write to us. So what should I say? I'm not happy today for I cannot give very fast actions on for this bad weather. Right? No light here, I can't put load on it also. So I think I should not pull it further. But this is very important information for all. That cores are very important factors, and whenever there is a problem, the problem was that somebody told him this contact with us, and that comes us. Why? Oh, I know. I don't know what to do. Let us see what's there in that actually. What is actually left in that? That's not important to know. This is execution of tests, and which we'll see, I think. Execution of test, and then estimated in situ cube strength, then radiography of concrete, then surface hardness. Surface hardness on that, and this was then it is method of test, equipment and reporting, and chemical content, that's also very important. Then laboratory testing of that. So then it's a productive treatment versus concrete side. So this is these. This is what I said. I'll take it tomorrow and I'm going to stay back to right side. no chance of light till now. Sorry.